I'm sure you've seen a lot of these in your ads when trying to watch free anime. That's not what am I gonna do? You want to get that beautiful SS character. Hey guys, welcome to Somewhat JP and I'm Alex. So the other day on Twitter, I had a poll sent out about what I should do for my next video, and 18 whole humans, more friends than I currently have, responded to video games. So way back when I first started learning Japanese, I had a Kingdom Hearts Chain of Memories Game Boy Japanese edition that I kind of used to track my progress, and it's so rewarding in the end when I was finally just able to save, right? So I really want to be able to give you guys that experience as well. On the other hand, I can't give you a whole comprehensive vocabulary list to be able to play any Japanese game out there. There's so much varied vocabulary that's just not feasible. But what I can give you is the cultural and linguistic background to the key parts of gaming culture in Japan, and how general gaming words are structured so you're less surprised when they come up. So in this series, I want to start off with talking about games, so you can kind of describe what you're playing in the first place. Yay! To start off, the most basic word about games is just game, which means game. And you can use this with the two verbs suru and yaru, which both mean to do. So you can say game wo suru or game wo yaru to mean to play a game. So then you can kind of construct a sentence that looks like game wo suru no ga suki desu. Game wo yaru no ga suki desu. Yaru is just a kind of more casual way of saying it, but you can say it in kind of any situation, I feel. But now what about video games? You could say something like terebi game, because games are originally played on the television. You can also say something like video game, but that's a little less common. But of course, recently there's been a boom of mobile games, so the way to describe those would be, there's a lot of words for it, but something like game apuri, and apuri comes from application, right? So game apuri, or apuri would just mean app, like how app is in English, to application. You can also say something like mobile game, which makes sense. You might also hear something like smartphone game, which is commonly just shortened to smaho game. Smaho meaning smartphone. And of course, you may also hear it like携帯 game,携帯 meaning cell phone. And that's kind of the shorter version of 携帯電話 game. Now, which word you use for mobile game is kind of up to you, by personal preference. You can see in the description below, I put some links where Konami, for example, uses mobile game, while Nexon uses smaho game. One word you might hear about games would be computer game, which is usually just towards PC games. But now what if I want to talk about non-digital games, something like board games or card games? This whole category is called analogu game, which comes from analog, meaning not digital. If you want to talk about specifically board games or card games, you can say board game for board game and card game for card game, even trading card game for something like Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Pokemon. If you wanted to talk about specifically Western playing cards, these are called torampu. Torampu. And no, it's not that Trump, but it could be similar. But just like all the words that you saw earlier, you can use suru or yaru with this word, and you can say torampu yaro, torampu yaro, let's play Trump. Or you can also just say torampu yaro, torampu yaro. I'll let the translation speak for itself. So now this next part is the easiest part of the entire video, especially for English speakers. And this is about game genres. Game no genre. Almost all the game genres are the exact same way they are in English, so it'll be really easy to remember these. Let's do a quick run through all these. Action game, shooting game, simulation game, which is also sometimes pronounced, which I think is kind of weird, simulation game, racing game, adventure game, role-playing game, which is more commonly just said as RPG game, puzzle game, 音楽 game. Wait, that's not correct. What am I gonna do? So 音楽 game just means music game, or even for rhythm games. And this is also more commonly said as 音ゲー, and this 音 just means sound, taken from the word 音楽. And you have ゲー, which is just a common abbreviation of word game. And now we also have 育て game. Wait, that's also not katakana. Oh no. So 育て game comes from 育てる game. 育てる means to raise like a child or something. You also have this in an even longer form as 育成 game, which also means kind of to grow, to cultivate, mostly like a child or some living thing. And the even longer version of this would be 育成 simulation game. 育成 simulation game. It's kind of hard to say. And these kind of games are something like The Sims, where you're kind of raising humans, I guess, in that game. Yeah. So now we have a very, very popular genre of game called gyaruge. Gyaruge. And as you could probably guess, gyaru comes from girl, and ge is what we saw before, game. Girl game would be those games that are very, very overly sexualized, meant for guys. I'm sure you've seen a lot of these in your ads when trying to watch free anime. So next time you're trying to watch free anime and you see one of those wonderful ads on the side, you can say, Mata gyaruge ka. And the final genre I wanted to talk about is unge. Ung means luck. So a luck game, right? A game of luck. These games are super, super popular, especially as mobile games. So I'm sure you're going to see this term a lot after hearing it here. But it could also be used as an abstract term. For example, jinsei wa unge da ne. Jinsei wa unge da ne. And that means life is just a game of luck. So all this talk of luck games is a perfect segue into gacha games. And this is a very, very integral part of Japanese gaming culture. And a lot of what their mobile games are based on. So this is a very important thing to know. So gacha, which is now even just said often in English as well, comes from gachapon, and also just said as gacha in Japanese, which are these Japanese capsule toys, where you get a random one each time you try. And this idea of getting a random prize is kind of what has evolved into what we know as loot boxes. Thanks, Japan. The word gacha is also connected to the onomatopoeia gacha gacha, gacha gacha, which is kind of the rattling or clanking of a machine. And especially these kind of gacha machines. So on the topic of gacha games and loot crate games, the last word I want to introduce is risemara. Risemara. And this is comprised of risetto, risetto, and marathon, reset marathon. And I know a lot of you have this experience before, but when you finally go through the tutorial of a gacha game and you get that sweet, 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 sweet free roll, you don't want to waste that roll. You want to get that beautiful SS character, right? And if you don't, well, you know, here we go again. We're restarting the game. So that's all the vocab I wanted to introduce today. Let me know down in the comments section below if there's any other specific game-related vocab that you want to know, and I'll make sure to include it in my next episode. Make sure to subscribe and do all that fun stuff, and I'll talk to you later.